Did you know Michael Jordan didn't even want to sign with Nike? In fact, the Adidas shoe was Michael Jordan's preferred choice while playing in the NBA. And even though while in college, he loved the Converse brand at North Carolina, it wasn't the fact that he liked it so much, but his coach Dean Smith was getting paid almost $10,000 a year to push the brand on his players. And in fact, the Adidas brand was Michael Jordan's real dream. Unfortunately, Michael became extremely sad because Adidas wasn't offering any sort of offer for him. It's not necessarily that they didn't think he was a good player or the fact that they didn't want to, but it was an extremely bad time for them. The reason for this is the company founder and the world famous icon, Adi Dassler, had just died in 1978, and his wife decided to take over the business. Everything was in shambles, as not only his 4 daughters were each running different divisions of the company, but his wife also took over a different division. So the company really didn't want to make any big moves, or even sign top name players. Not many remember this, but back in the day, Converse was the #1 basketball brand, with top athletes like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird seen numerous times wearing the so-called brand all over the NBA court. It was considered the #1 basketball shoe that everyone must have. But even Converse wasn't ready to offer Michael Jordan a huge deal because they already had the most famous athletes on board. But Nike was, and they needed him extremely quickly. The company was in turmoil, and it was the perfect opportunity to take him after the Olympics had finished. And keep in mind, if everything worked out and Michael Jordan was to prosper in the NBA, it could eventually become one of the biggest brands in the sporting world. At first, honestly, Michael was very hesitant, as Nike wasn't a big name in the industry. Realistically, Jordan wasn't a big fan of their designs either. He even repeated to his agent multiple times, "Do everything in your power to get me over to Adidas." That was his dream and longtime goal. Nike had to do so much convincing, even going as far as changing their designs to make Jordan happy. One of Michael Jordan's biggest wants was to make the shoes lower to the ground. And he didn't like the higher shoe designs that Nike had. And as desperate as Nike was, they just said yes to everything he requested. First of all, Jordan even admitted that before he signed with Nike, he had never tried one of their shoes to even see if they were comfortable. Eventually, Nike made a deal with Michael Jordan for $500,000 a year for a 5-year contract. That was considered at the time to be an astonishing deal. Although there were numerous conditions that he had to perform in the league, Nike even had an early termination clause. If everything went according to plan with stock options, Jordan can earn up to $7 million over those 5 years. But Nike was still very strict. They specifically stated that Michael Jordan had to accomplish certain things, such as becoming the Rookie of the Year or becoming an All-Star with an average of 20 points per game. And harder than anything else, he had to sell at least $4 million worth of Jordan sneakers in the first 3 years of his contract. Thus, the 2 remaining years would go through if this all happened. And guess what? As we all know, the Air Jordan sneakers became one of the most successful shoes, not only in basketball history, but in the world. I guess everyone won at the end of the day. I hope you like this story, and I hope it can teach you about how sometimes taking risks and believing in certain people can not only save a struggling company, but change the world. Please comment below on what you think about this video, if it was worth it for Nike to do this, and if you want to see more videos just like this, click on the videos on the screen.